Didn't work. Yeah.
There you go. All right, let's go. This is episode 112 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. The Bengals are preparing for a statement game this week. Does the fact that they really should be 3-0 honestly matter right now? We'll find out when they take on the upstart Miami Dolphins this week. The Browns are getting some much-needed rest after their Thursday night matchup last week while they're preparing to host the Atlanta Falcons. Not exactly a juggernaut opponent, I don't think we would say, but I don't think the Browns are complaining about having an easy schedule while their quarterback is suspended. I finally got around to releasing my power rankings on my personal YouTube channel, trying to get back in the swing of that. And the Steelers ended up in the lowest category. You know, and honestly, I'm not being a homer or anything like that. They honestly ended up in my lowest category. Because why, Thomas?
Because the Steelers still suck.
Damn right. Because the Steelers still suck.
You suck, Pittsburgh.
They are awful, and there is a reason why I put them in the bottom category.
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
I love that intro.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Just love it. It just,
it feels good. Gets you ready to go.
Yeah.
Gets you ready to go.
I can't wait for our Halloween matchup, by the way. I really can't wait for it. I want to try my hardest to get you down here because we could do some cool stuff before the game. So
that is going to be fun, I think.
You guys see, I don't know if you ever seen the tailgates in Cleveland, but the tailgates in Cleveland are insane. So I'm really excited about having you down here.
I've heard good things. I figure for the longest time it's like, you know, Browns fans needed to tailgate because what the hell else were you gonna do? All right, so you know what I'm really excited about, Thomas?
What's that?
I'm really excited about this Bengals game, Dolphins game, because the Bengals after the Jets game, I think the Bengals are starting to look like their old selves again.
Okay.
You know, Joe Burrow this year, he mostly hasn't looked like himself. Like if you look at like, you know, the PFF grades for like, you know, how a quarterback performs under pressure, Joe Burrow has not been performing well at all, and that was kind of like his highlight last year. He grades in like 31.2, I think, in pass efficiency when under pressure. And last year he was like the best in the league at it. So, you know, he did well against the Jets, but in general, you know, you like the fact that he's kind of starting to put it back together, and that's, you know, what you need if this Bengals team is going to be competitive. You've got a hell of a task this week against the Miami Dolphins, who, if you watch my power rankings video, you'll know that I almost had them as my number one team in the NFL this week. Even though the Dolphins did beat the Bills, I still felt like, you know, I still feel like the Bills are the best team in the NFL, and they only lost on kind of like a fluky thing at the end of the game where they ran out of time. Like that's not going to happen most of the time. They were ready to win. Like Josh Allen had them in position to win that game, and then they ran out of time. That doesn't normally happen.
Yeah, you know, that was just a frustrating. It's great because those two teams play each other again later. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
That was just such a fluky ending. But you gotta realize, you gotta give the Dolphins credit because they survived the butt fumble or a butt punt. So there was also that. So how do we not know? Mistakes happen at the beginning of the year, but one thing that you got to measure by the Dolphins is they kept it close the whole game. In fact, they won. They're winning most of the game. They did what they could to win. McDaniels looking great. He looks like he is the sauce to Bill Belichick's spaghetti, I guess. You can't have spaghetti without sauce. It could be Alfredo sauce, it could be marinara sauce, but who the hell eats spaghetti without no sauce? It's just nasty. That's Bill Belichick. He's a spaghetti. Great spaghetti. Spaghetti is great. Spaghetti is the GOAT. Spaghetti is the greatest of all time. Spaghetti, in my opinion, is the greatest food of all time. I take that to my grave. But what's spaghetti without any sauce? That's Bill Belichick. He don't got no sauce.
Okay, first of all, I want to rewind for a second. I don't know if spaghetti is the greatest food of all time. It's fine, but also like spaghetti without sauce is also fine. Like, I mean, it's not the way I want to eat spaghetti by any means. But I mean, as long as the spaghetti's properly salted, it's fine. Like,
well, Bill Belichick, when he's properly salted, he's fine.
Well, Bill Belichick's always salty. But anyway. Anyway, getting back to the Bengals here. This is like I said at the top of the episode. This is potentially a statement game because if you can beat the Miami Dolphins, who right now like have a good argument to be the best team in the NFL right now, especially with the way Tua Tagovailoa is playing, then the Bengals win this game and they're right back into that point where it's just like, all right, this is a team to pay attention to in the NFL, and they have to actually go do it. Helps though that they're hosting the Dolphins on a short week, so the Dolphins have to make that trip all the way up I-75, and that could potentially be a bit problematic for them.
Intriguing.
You know, one thing I'll say though, the Bengals pass rush has been getting better. Obviously, did quite well against Joe Flacco, and Tua has been, let's see, not so great when trying to pass against pressure this year. Like a lot of what's been going good with him is he's been kind of putting it together when his offensive line does well around him. But in terms of like Pro Football Focus grades, when he's facing pressure, Tua Tagovailoa is the 27th ranked quarterback in the NFL. Now that's also including some guys like, Jordan Love and Teddy Bridgewater, Davis Mills. Well, not Davis Mills, but like basically Jordan Love and Teddy Bridgewater, who haven't really had a whole lot of snaps. So I mean, like if you can get to Tua and you can pressure him, if you can get through that offensive line, which I think the Bengals defensive line is capable of doing, although. To be fair, we also did lose DJ Reader, so that's going to hurt. But I think if you can put some pressure on Tua Tagovailoa, then he might crack. And I'm not saying he's going to start throwing interceptions left and right, but I am saying you can slow down that offense.
I agree with you. I think you guys do have a better quarterback. I think Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Tua. I don't think that's too much.
Got to show it first.
Exactly. He got to show it first. I just think that McDaniels took advantage of the early season. I think the early in the season, you can win a lot of games just by being the most prepared team in the NFL. And it seems like the Dolphins came out with a game plan. They're the most prepared team in the NFL. But the reason why the Dolphins are so dangerous is because they got all these receivers. They have all these weapons at receiver. And Tua's using them.
Tyreek Hill was a great pickup.
Yeah, it was. It's just insane that they just got him for just hey man, we just gonna take this guy right here. Just give us this guy. Like it's funny, man. Like receivers, man, off season, those be like the sneakiest best move in the NFL. Like that's how the Browns got Cooper, man. We got him for 5th round pick because Dallas didn't want to pay him. The same thing with the Dolphins, man. They're like, hey man, y'all want to pay this receiver? We're just gonna take this guy. Thank you. Yeah. He's ours. This guy right here, he might be an asshole, but this guy can run fast. Who's this guy? No, I mean, I
don't think Tyreek Hill's any more of an asshole than your typical NFL player. He's like, I mean,
yeah, but I
he's
kind of say it now.
Flashy, but...
See, you know that, and I know that, but I gotta say it now because apparently the rest of the world don't know that. So I may or may not be referring to something else, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, obviously, the rest of the NFL is assholes.
So to be clear, I think it should probably be noted. I keep talking about this game as though Tua Tagovailoa is going to be the starting quarterback. I'm pretty sure, like they keep saying he's questionable, he might not play. I think Tua's going to play. I don't think there's too much to worry about that if you're a Miami Dolphins fan. I think he's going to play. It doesn't help that it's a short week, so I mean, there I guess there's a chance there. But to be clear, there is definitely a chance that it's Teddy Bridgewater playing and not Tua Tagovailoa. Now, I mean, I think I would say the same thing about Teddy Bridgewater. He's been a little bit when he has played this year, which I think he's only had like 3 snaps or something like that. But I mean, he was like kind of like average against pressure. So you wouldn't necessarily play him the exact same way that you would play Tua, but at the same time, I think it's clear that if Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback, then you definitely probably have a bit of an advantage over if Tua was the quarterback the way Tua's been playing.
Intriguing. Teddy Bridgewater instead of Tua. Man, just that, you have a short week, not a lot of time to plan. The home team wins Thursday night game. The home team wins Thursday night games, 70% of the time for crazy like that. It's heavily favoring to the home team because, the home team don't have a travel day. That's a big thing. That's when you're talking about like 4 days to prepare, 5 days to prepare. So they have that advantage going for them. A lot of momentum going towards the Bengals side. The offense looked like it was clicking a lot. The defense looked like it was clicking too. They finally got protection around Joe Burrow. Tyler Boyd looks good. Honestly, man, all I need to do is just have Jamar Chase to get going again. Y'all will beat this team.
Yeah. I mean, Jamar Chase is kind of doing the same thing he did last year. It took him a minute to kind of get going, but once he did, he took off. And I'll tell you one thing, like despite some of the issues that existed, we don't beat the Jets without Jamar Chase, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, the other thing to take note of is, obviously there's the huge difference there between Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine. Might be seeing a little bit more of Samaje Perine in this game. Kind of really hard to tell. But, in general, the Bengals have not at all been a very good blocking team as far as the run goes this year. They've actually been worse as a run blocking team than they have been as a pass blocking team for all of the talk about how bad their pass blocking looks. I mean, it's only a little bit worse, but it's still been worse. So you got Joe Mixon in the backfield and up against this Miami defense, which has actually been one of the best teams in the NFL in terms of run defense. So I think, honestly, this is going to have to be a game that Joe Burrow is going to have to dominate because I don't really see us putting much of anything together on the ground. Maybe if they put Samaje Perine in there, it'll mix it up a little bit. I don't know. But I think, I mean, unless you're just running to the right constantly, which I don't know why they're not doing because every time they run to the right, it seems to work just fine. But, point being that it's going to have to be through the air. And this is going to have to be, it's almost I almost kind of expect this game to be a shootout because the Bengals are going to have to play a high pace, ball in the air type of game. And the Dolphins are more than capable of keeping up with that. Especially if Tua plays. If Tua doesn't play, then I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater is going to be keeping up with that because we played Teddy Bridgewater last year when he was on the Broncos and he definitely did not do that. So,
I'm very interested in a tight end who got picked up. I really want to see what he does again. He's been looking nice. I'm with you. Joe Burrow got to have a big game. I want to see a signature Joe Burrow game where Joe Burrow is just like, wow, this guy right here, he's just hot. He's in his zone. He's making plays. I want to see that from Joe Burrow. I agree with you on that. What's up with Joe Mixon? What do you think is the main cause of Joe Mixon's struggle? Do you think it's because of the run blocking? Do you think it's something mental with Joe Mixon? Why is Joe Mixon struggling?
It's hard to say. Obviously, without being down there, and without being honestly, the only people who probably know exactly what Joe Mixon's going through is Joe Mixon and probably his running back coach. outside of those guys, I don't know if anybody knows exactly what's going on with Joe Mixon. To me, it looks like a vision problem. It looks like he's not seeing the holes, or like he's like maybe he's overcommitting too much to one direction that he wants to be going, and then like he gets there and he's just like, oh, I'm already here. I might as well try to find what I'm doing over here. When there was like this lane, there was this hole, like in a completely different spot, and it just seems like he's reacting to whatever's going on in front of him, and yet he just doesn't have the vision to actually properly react to it. That's what it looks like to me. But then again, I'm also like, looking at it from a 30,000 foot view where I'm seeing the TV angles where I'm like, dude, there's like a perfect running lane right there.
Yeah, it's right there, man. It's right there. You see this? Do you not hear the announcer telling you? You not hear Ian Eagle telling you, hey, man, look, hey, you see this lane right here? You missed this lane.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, shut up, Ian Eagle.
I don't think that Joe Mixon is going to have the same advantages that I have of seeing it from that height. But at the same time, he's an NFL running back. He's a trained NFL running back, and I am not. Like, I mean, I played wide receiver very badly in middle school. Like, yes, I played wide receiver and cornerback.
You played wide receiver and cornerback? Were you even fast, or was that just like they just needed somebody to fill those positions?
No, I'm fast. And I was I think it was like speed and body type. I was always one of the first people to like when we did the running drills and stuff like that. I was always one of the first people to finish. So
look at you, man, Mr. Athlete.
But I was also like I was a skinny kid, right? So I wasn't gonna be playing running back or anything like that.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, aside from that, point is, I'm not an NFL running back. I don't know, I don't know what to look for. So me seeing the 30,000 foot view and seeing the obvious holes, it's like, I would think that Joe Mixon, being an NFL running back and having all that experience, he might be able to see similar to the amount. He might be able to have a similar vision to what I'm seeing, because other running backs see holes. That's what I'm saying. Like Joe Mixon just seems to have like no idea. And it's like, Samaje Perine is seeing the holes. That's why he's getting where he's going. So I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't understand what Joe Mixon is like, what he's processing, because it's just like, it's right there, So to answer your question, I think it's a vision problem with Joe Mixon. I could be wrong. I don't know exactly what's going on. You'd probably be better off to ask Joe Mixon, and even then, you'd probably be better off to ask Joe Mixon in kind of like a private context, because he's not going to tell the media.
Well, let's see. I think Joe Mixon will get together. He got too much talent. He's still too young. Maybe it's a vision problem, but it's the first 2 weeks of the season. A lot of players get it going later in the season. I think Joe Mixon, ball starts getting rolling. He's gonna start playing harder. Besides, y'all need 2 running backs anyway. Every team needs 2 running backs. We live in an age where we're first of all playing 17 games in the season. So you want to have 2 running backs where you can split the carries, where you're not putting too much wear and tear on one player. But not only just that, it's just like, this is the way the NFL is going. Because, my team got 2 running backs, and they're looking really, really good. Both them motherfuckers seeing holes.
That's wonderful for you, Thomas.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
My team has one guy who should be one of the best running backs in the NFL, and then a second-year player who barely gets used for whatever reason, even though he's super talented, and then Samaje Perine, who exists.
It feels good being in the first place.
Yeah, we'll take it back soon.
Let's see.
Okay, so actually on that note, that's a good way to transition into the Browns. So the Browns are hosting the Atlanta Falcons after 10 days of rest. It seems like, huh?
We're in Atlanta.
Oh, are you? Oh,
they're totally in Atlanta, because I don't play people.
I totally looked that up earlier. I must have read it wrong, but I totally thought y'all. Okay, so y'all are playing in Atlanta, but you got 10 days of rest, so it's just like You got to be able to take that. Now, I mean, it's just like this is the type of game. I think most people are going to be predicting the Browns to win, especially considering the fact that they've been having some good success lately. So,
we had 10 days of rest.
Do you see any potential shortfalls, Thomas?
Our defense is hurt. JOK is somebody we need because that quarterback for the Falcons is pretty fast. We won't be able to get a lot of pressure because it doesn't. I'm not sure. Nobody knows what's going on with Miles right now. If it's a 1 week thing or is it a 2 week thing. A lot of people want Myles Garrett. A lot of people in Cleveland want Myles Garrett to take his time. He been on an accident that flipped over 3 times. So thank God he's just okay. So a lot of people are just like, take your time. We don't have Jadavion Clowney. Our other edge rushers hurt. So we're very thin on the line. Denzel Ward is probably going to play, so our secondary is going to be fine. Anthony Walker's hurt. And JOK is questionable for this weekend, too. We're not sure we're going to have JOK or not. We might not get JOK until next week. So there's problems. There's a lot of problems here on defense. I do think our offense is going to be fine. I don't see any way the Falcons can stop our offense at all. I think Cooper is really good. I think Chubb and Hunt are going to cause a lot of problems for them. I think Njoku is coming into his own. But Kyle Pitts is insane. You still have a fast quarterback. They got a nice run back there. They got weapons. Now for me, if I'm the Browns, the biggest thing, the key word for me to win this game is the turnover battle. Y'all win a turnover battle, y'all win this game. So turnovers. That's the key for me. And I know turnovers aren't promised, but if you create forced turnovers against the Falcons, you will beat them pretty easily.
Well, I think you can probably beat as we've seen with the Falcons. I mean, I don't want to jinx anything, but you can beat the Falcons pretty easily in general.
Look, man, we lost to the Jets a couple weeks ago. I'm pretty sure that everybody in the city is done taking opponents lightly. We don't got a superstar quarterback back yet.
That's fair. That's why I said I don't want to over commit to that mentality or anything like that. What I'm saying is I'm just referencing the Falcons' tendency to choke away leads constantly. So
they do.
And they don't do a very good job. Sometimes they'll make comebacks, but they'll rarely finish off those comebacks. So
this is why I'm on edge about it, because the Ravens are playing a very enticing opponent. We could be the only 3-1 team in the AFC North. So this game is virally important for us.
So one thing you had mentioned to me before we started recording that you wanted to talk about was I think the question you posed was, is Jacoby Brissett really all that good of a quarterback? So tell me what your thoughts on that are.
Well, currently he has very high PFF grade right now. You would know that, Mr. PFF himself. But he has a really good PFF grade for one. That's always good. The nerds like him. One thing that from watching closely the last 2 games, he's very efficient. He's a very mentally tough quarterback, and he doesn't get rattled. And I just think that's what you're going to get from him. I think you're going to get 200 yards a game every game from him. And he's able to make those throws. I think the way you beat him is put him in a situation where he has to win a game almost like a top 5 quarterback would, like you expect Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. Because he's not that. That's the difference between Jacoby Brissett and everybody else. I think you're getting Baker Mayfield level production as Jacoby Brissett. Quarterback that can come in, give you 200, 250 yards a game, maybe even throw for 300 one day, but 200, 250 yards a game. He's very efficient on those 4th downs. He's very efficient on the 3rd down. Quick strikes, release the ball well. And the best thing that I like about him the most is his leadership. Now, we've been hearing about Jacoby Brissett leadership all offseason. We didn't know what to expect from this guy. And they were like, what's one thing we could like about Jacoby Brissett? Here, let me close on the cop outside. 5-0. Anyway, one thing that we could expect from Jacoby Brissett And one thing that we heard a lot from the locker room is his leadership. He texted Myles Garrett after the accident. He galvanized the locker room after the Jets game. And he had a really great mentality that's rubbing off of Kevin Stefanski, where he said that we always have to focus on next game. We cannot get too high on losses or too low on too high on wins or too low on losses. Because we do, then we will not mentally prepare ourselves for our next opponent. He's a very straightforward, straight-minded quarterback. And I like what I'm seeing. And honestly, I think he's the starting quarterback in this league. I really do. From what I see a starting quarterback. I still take Deshaun Watson over him, but I'm really excited to see what else he got. Now maybe it's a little bit too early to crown him, but he's been looking good the last couple games. So we're gonna see what happens the next couple games. See what happens.
So the thing about Jacoby Brissett, which is had we been doing the episodes in the offseason, the thing that I would have said about that, in fairness to him, because honestly, he's not an exciting quarterback to have as your starter. But in fairness to him, he when he's good, it's because he's very safe, right? He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and he can push the ball, but due to being very intelligent and making the right moves and stuff like that. But he is not in any way, shape, or form explosive. He is. When it comes to deep passing, like you mentioned, he grades out quite well when it comes to Pro Football Focus, and almost all of the time that's true, except when it comes to deep passing. He's actually one of the worst graded quarterbacks in the NFL when it comes to deep passing. He's already thrown an interception when attempting a deep pass. He's only got 62 yards on the season from deep passing, which compared to everybody else is basically nothing. That's comparable to Jimmy Garoppolo, who hasn't even played all 3 games.
Yeah.
So,
Trey
Lance, Cooper Rush, guys like that.
The goal for Jacoby is to just get to just tread water and stay even until Watson gets back. But I will say this though, he does got a nice little mid-range game. He not play action. But here's my thing. Jacoby never had a team like this. Jacoby always have the defense on their heels because you got 2 running backs the defense got the game plan for. And then you have a great receiver. And Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper looks really good. So he had a lot of things going in his favor, and then he has one of the best play callers in the league. So he got a lot of stuff going for him right now because he's just surrounded by superstars around him. He's surrounded by people who does their job great around him. Got a great coach, got a great offensive line, got great running backs, got a great receiver, got a good tight end. He got everything he needs. This man got it made. This man's driving a freaking Porsche. Hopefully he don't flip it over 3 times. Too soon. Too soon. Love you, Myles Garrett, if you ever hear this. One of these days, by the way, we're going to stay that shit. I never hear this. If you ever hear this, one of these days, somebody's going to hear this. I'm like, damn, you actually heard it. I wasn't expecting you to hear that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make a joke about you. You came out alive, okay? You came out alive from that car accident. Love you, Myles Garrett. But yeah, I think a lot of it is, the fact that, he got it made. And you just needed somebody who won't fuck it up. Jacoby, don't fuck this up. And he's doing his job. He got one job, Jacoby.
And he's doing it.
Best running backs in the league.
That's true. I was my biggest concern about the Browns was the fact that Jacoby Brissett isn't really going to offer much of anything, but he really hasn't needed to. I will say that now that I see the way that the Browns offense is operating, though, I almost kind of worry about what happens when Deshaun Watson comes back. If the Browns can, stay in the playoff hunt and get ready for when Deshaun Watson comes back. This is not the style of offense that Deshaun Watson is best at running. And as I've said before, the last time we saw Deshaun Watson, he wasn't playing particularly well. So, new offense, hasn't played in a few years. Is it maybe worth it just to stick with Jacoby Brissett when Deshaun Watson's not suspended?
A lot of people are saying that.
Well.
A lot of people are asking that same question, Kyle, and it's crazy because we're only 3 games in and people are asking that question. What's crazy is that they're asking that question now. They posed on the radio, what does the Browns' record have to be for them to go to Washington? Because really, they should be 3-0. But If you're going to Watson with like an 8-2 record, what is he playing? Week 11, week 12, right? So if he's going there with 8 wins or 9 wins, 8 wins, they said that's like the cutoff mark. But like 9 wins, if you're going there 9-2, if you only lose twice, if one of those losses is a loss that wasn't his fault, man, we're gonna be having a serious conversation. So I mean, that's pie in the sky. I doubt that's gonna happen. I think that if he gets 7-4, I think that you go to Watson. 8 wins, maybe Watson, but 6 wins, you go. If 7 wins or below, there's no doubt you go to Watson. But if it's 8 wins, man, yeah, you gotta have a conversation. You gotta have a serious conversation, man. But I still think Watson's better. I still think that long term, Watson would be better. I think Watson would be better in the playoffs. I think that this offense would be. I think this offense would be great for Watson. I think that all the time. I'm like, man, imagine we have Deshaun Watson over here. Oh, dang, imagine we have one.
See, I'm actually kind of gonna disagree with you. I think the threshold's more like 6-7 wins. Like, at 7 wins is when you're thinking we should probably stick with Jacoby Brissett here, just because you've got this momentum. You're you're legitimately in the playoff hunt, and Jacoby Brissett got you here. So, especially with Deshaun Watson probably being rusty and stuff like that, you don't want to throw off that rust. You don't want to throw off all that chemistry and everything like that. The first couple games that Deshaun Watson comes back could be pretty rough. That's all I'm saying. So,
the first game,
if you got 7 wins, I think you ride Jacoby Brissett. Even if you got 6 wins, I think you talk about it.
Yes.
Anything below that, and it's just like you might not be making the playoffs anyway, so why not just throw Deshaun Watson in there? But it's 6 wins. I think you start kind of having that discussion of like, maybe, because I mean, if you're at 6 wins, that means you have a winning record. That means you're 6-5, right? Because it's going to be 11 games because y'all have already had your bye by that point, right?
Yeah.
So I think if you're 6-5, if you have a winning record at all, then I think you stick with Jacoby Brissett because he got you that winning record. And if what you're saying is right, that a 9-8 team can make the playoffs, then why not stick with Jacoby Brissett, who got you a winning record? Because all you need is
I just think that you could win a Super Bowl with Watson. I don't think you could win a Super Bowl with Jacoby. And I think that
I don't think you're winning a Super Bowl with Deshaun Watson this year, though. That's my point.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't subscribe to this motion that he's going to be like. I think he's going to be rusty, but I don't think it's going to take him as long as people are saying. I give him like 2 games.
Even 2 games could ruin your season. That's my point.
Possibly, but that first game is against the worst team in the league.
The Texans?
Yeah, they're pretty bad, man.
Oh, so it is against the Texans. That's funny.
Yeah. That's totally done on purpose, man. Come on.
I'm sure it was done on purpose, but
that's totally done on purpose. It was totally done on purpose. They know it.
Well, I guess I guess it remains to be seen. But as far as the Browns and Falcons specifically go, my whole analysis of this game is really honestly just like Browns get the pressure on Marcus Mariota, and like I mean he doesn't perform particularly well in the face of pressure. He's terrible at holding on to the ball.
Hey, we're gonna pressure, man. Who gonna pressure him? Who? Janavion Conley's out. Myles Garrett is up here flipping cars upside down like he's freaking a monster truck rally. Who's gonna come after him? Jesus? Hey, yo, Jesus! You trying to play linebacker, edge rusher for the Browns? No, he busy, man. Out here fighting the devil. Like, what we gonna do here, man?
I mean, fair enough. The Falcons, the Falcons are pretty low on the end of teams that, in terms of like their pass blocking grade. Like, I wouldn't expect too much out of the Falcons as far as blocking. So if you've got like anybody who's halfway decent at pass rushing, I think that you'd be able to get something done.
Oh, that excites me. Let's go fuck the Falcons up. Fuck you, Atlanta. Not you. You got too many shooters. Y'all got too many shooters in Atlanta for me. I don't mean that. Don't shoot me.
So Clowney's out?
Yeah, more than likely.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
You know what I'm
All
saying?
right, well, you got Alex Wright. You get excited about Alex Wright.
Yeah, I was right. I mean, Clowney might be able to make it back from that injury, but I think that he's gonna be 2 Sundays as well as Miles Garrett. I mean, Miles Garrett able to come back from that. He's gonna try. He's practicing tomorrow. He's gonna try. If
Yeah,
Miles Garrett able to
man.
come back from that. He got some strains though. So
I'm looking at y'all's defensive depth chart right now, and like, holy hell, no wonder you guys are struggling on defense. Like, this is
yeah, we got
a
injuries.
rough roster, man. Like, after all that like good drafting and free agency moves you did, that's what your defensive roster looks like. That's bad.
We're good when healthy.
Yeah, when you're perfectly healthy, but even
they don't
then,
got, there's no depth. There's no depth.
Like on the inside, you got Jordan Elliott and Taver and Bryan. No one's scared of that.
Yeah, but their secondary is nice though.
You got Jacob Phillips starting at middle linebacker. Like, come on.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled about that. But their secondary is nice. I'm very thrilled about our secondary and how well the secondary has been playing. The way I mean, like I'm always
you got
gonna
talent on the secondary.
Yeah, the secondary is nice. Grant Delpit, John Johnson, Grady Williams, and Greg Newsome, and Denzel Ward. I ride with those.
But the problem is the problem is on your front seven. If Myles Garrett isn't getting a sack,
I don't.
You're kind of screwed.
Well, this is why you need Clowney and Myles Garrett in the game at the same time.
Yeah. What happened to what's his name, by the way? The guy, God, what was his name? The guy that was like a first round pick for the Falcons, who like almost signed with us and then ended up signing with you guys because we didn't like
Takk McKinley.
Takk McKinley. Yeah, what happened to Takk McKinley?
I don't think we ever brought him back. That kind of just went off my radar. I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder where. Apparently, he's playing for the Rams now. Apparently, he signed with the Titans this offseason, didn't make the team, and now he's with the Rams.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, he had a decent season with the Browns last year. Like, not great, not jump off the page, but like
but he did better than expected. Like you saying, we get anything from this guy. You remember we said we get anything from this guy, it's a bonus because he was going from team to team. I can't believe he didn't bring Takk back. You would think.
If I had to bet, it's probably because he tore his Achilles near the end of the year. So probably wondering. Same reason we didn't sign him, like for health reasons.
Mm.
But anyway, we probably talked about that enough. Let's go ahead and move on to these predictions.
Okay.
So as we are actually predicting ahead of the Thursday night game, we can include the Thursday night game in this one, but obviously we'll do that at the end because it's or like either the last one or the second to the last one. But just as a recap, don't forget that out of nowhere, Thomas raced ahead of me last week because I had a bad week. So Thomas, you're at 20 wins on the season. I'm at 19.
And then the Cowboys won.
So it's heating up.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's like
yeah. I forgot the Cowboys won. So we're actually even on the year.
Yeah. Cowboys won. Yeah. See, I never forget it. I'm
20 and 15, and you're 20 and 15.
Awesome.
So we are tied, but that's still impressive because I was pulling ahead there for a minute.
Oh yeah. Ain't over into the fat lady saying. We got Rita. Oh no, I forgot she did. Rest in peace, Queen.
Jesus, you're on a roll today. All right, so. First game, let's talk about. This one, in my opinion, is going to be a snooze fest because both of these teams suck. But Chargers and Texans in Houston. Beware, do not watch.
Damn, man, how did the Chargers fall from grace like that? Because I'm really young considering taking the Texans.
Right.
Give me the Chargers.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Justin Herbert don't look good right now. You know what it is that I think that I could keep on saying that there's something wrong with the Chargers that we just can't put our finger on. Like both of us been saying that. I think it is. I think it is. I think it's a culture problem.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think it's a culture problem. I think it's a culture problem. I think there is a bad culture in LA. I think they're fun. They're a fun team, but like it just doesn't. Something just doesn't feel like it works there. I don't know, but I give them this weekend though. I think they beat the Texans.
So, in my opinion, the biggest issue with the Chargers is the fact that like the Chargers offensive line is actually about as bad as everybody like says the Bengals offensive line is, right? Like the Chargers are legitimately the worst offensive line in the NFL, bar none. And that's with Rashawn Slater having, a good rookie year. And then, this year he hasn't been doing so well. But like, I mean, Justin Herbert has like a rib injury now. And that's part of why I'm considering taking the Texans here. But I mean that's a big like the problem for the Chargers is their offensive line. It's also the fact that their defense doesn't know how to tackle.
Yeah, their defense don't look good.
They would be fine if they could wrap dudes up. That's the main thing.
Who's home this game?
Texans.
It's really hard not to take the Texans. I'm with you, but I'm going with the Chargers. I'm still going to take the Chargers. This one.
Yeah. No, I'm honestly, I'm taking the Chargers here too, just because the Texans are so bad. Like they look worse than last year, honestly.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like
horrible. Like I mean, if the Chargers hand it off to Austin Eckler for like 2 seconds, that he's going to shred that Texans run defense. They're terrible. Like as bad as I was just shredding like the Chargers for their bad tackling, but the Texans are even worse, man. Like, I like Lovie Smith as a coach, but I mean the Texans just have nothing to give him. Like, I like Davis Mills as a quarterback, but the Texans have nothing around him. It's like Davis Mills and Lovie Smith are the only two human beings that I believe in Houston. You can't do it with just a halfway decent quarterback and a halfway decent coach.
Yeah.
And even then, it's been years since Lovie Smith was like really, a notably good head coach. So he's probably taking a step back.
Yeah, the Houston don't look good at all. I think it's karma. Fuck that franchise.
All right, so next we've got an AFC South battle. We've got the Tennessee Titans traveling to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Now, I gotta say one thing, Thomas. As bad as the Colts have mostly looked through the first 2 weeks, they did something special against the Chiefs last week. I gotta hand it off to them. I gotta give them credit. I was gonna give them credit on my power rankings video, but I was trying to cut out things to make it not too long, and unfortunately, that my little bit of praise to the Colts ended up getting cut. But I want to put that here now because we don't really have much of a time limit on this podcast. So I mean, kudos to the Colts for taking down the Chiefs. That was pretty impressive.
I'm very impressed with the Colts. One thing the Colts had the last few years, they always had a good defense. So I thought that their defense is going to come around. Matt Ryan is not a bad quarterback. I know he had the greatest fumble of all time. Even though I don't mean literal fumble, I mean fumbling the bag, as in like, here go the Super Bowl trophy, Matt Ryan. Oh no, you just lost it. Fumble the Super Bowl trophy. Anyway, defense for the for Indianapolis Colts look like they got into the head of Patrick Mahomes. If they get in the head of Patrick Mahomes, they're definitely getting ahead of Ryan Tannehill. So give me the Colts. Taking the Colts this game, I think that they be back to 500 and they get rolling again. That was a big one.
Well, they're at 500 right now, technically. They're 1-1-1.
Oh, for real? They tied?
Yeah. They tied week 1 with the Texans.
I forgot they did that shit.
So technically,
I forget because there was nobody who won. Nobody in that division won a game. Yeah, give me the Colts.
I'm also going to take the Colts here. The Titans are basically like the Derrick Henry show, and even then, it really just kind of depends on if Derrick Henry has a good day or not. Whereas like the Colts, man, like I mean, they're not they're not good, but they could be good. And like, I mean, coming off of a big win against the Chiefs, I think, especially being back at home, just having that momentum, I think they're going to roll into it this week just with the Titans not really looking all that threatening. So I'm going to take the Colts on this one too. All right. So next we got the dangerous Denver Broncos, who don't really actually look all that dangerous. And the only winless team left in the NFL, the Las Vegas Raiders. Who you got?
Dang, man. All right. Broncos. Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. That can't be a bad combination, can it be? Like, that gotta work, right?
Well, it has been working. It's just the only thing that's been working. Everything else has not been working. Actually, the Raiders have been playing in close games. They just, can't actually finish is the problem.
Okay.
But like, they almost beat the Titans and then, forgot how to win. Or rather, just forgot to win.
I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
Okay.
You know what it is that I'm just sitting here thinking about the Raiders. And like, you really think about it, there was that year that Cooper and Carr had that big year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, the very next year they struggled. I believe Carr got hurt. And then they got the coach from ESPN who had a bad email. And they were 500 and they were mediocre. But even last year, like, how good were they really last year? Like, I had an up close look at them last year. The Browns almost beat them with Nick Mullins, and it wasn't for a few bad bounces. The Browns would have beat them last year. They'll be the playoffs. Literally, one game separated last year's Browns team and last year's Raiders team, and we had an injured quarterback. Now, granted, the Raiders had a lot of other stuff going on. They had a star wide receiver killing people in a car accident. That's not even funny. That one's not even funny. Don't drink and drive, y'all. Don't drink and drive. But you have that guy. That's horrible. I mean, they really weren't that good last year. They were very average. They've been average the last few years. And the only reason why they weren't average last year is because they had an extra game to prove that they're slightly above average. So how good are the Raiders really? Did we crown the Raiders too early? And maybe we have, but I would still take. I'm going to take Russ in this game. I'm going to take Denver Broncos.
All right. So I have a couple things I want to say. One, how much older am I than you, Thomas? Like 3 years?
About 3 years.
3 years. So I just find it funny. Like that's a perfect description of like there's not much generational gap that exists between me and you, but there's a little tiny one that's perfectly exemplified by the fact that you think of John Gruden as the guy from ESPN. I think of John Gruden as that, coach that I really admired back when he led the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a Super Bowl back in 2002. That was right around. In fairness, that was right around the time I started really paying attention to football.
You know, it's crazy. It's crazy you say that. My first Super Bowl that I watched, right, was 2 years later, 2004 Super Bowl. That's when I got in football. Got back into football. That's when I got into football. 2004.
That's what I'm saying. I think the first Super Bowl I remember is the Ravens beating the Giants back in like 2000. That's the first Super Bowl I remember. But sorry, actually, that's not entirely true. I remember John Elway beating the. Well, okay. Let me step back. I remember the Broncos. I think the first Super Bowl I have any memories of whatsoever is the Broncos when they beat the Packers back in '98. I think that's the first Super Bowl I have any memories of. But like, I didn't even like really pay any attention to the game. I was just aware that like the Packers and the Broncos were playing a game on TV. Well, and I think like in my brain, I've now reverse engineered it to be like, oh shit, that was the Super Bowl. So, but like the first game that I have clear memories of is the Ravens and the Giants in 2000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy about that. It's crazy to say that because like the first Super Bowl that you watched was literally 2 years. 2 years, yeah. 2004 was the first Super Bowl that I watched. Mm-hmm. That was the one with the Patriots versus the Panthers, right? Panthers.
Well, that would have been for the 2003 season, but it would have been it would have been technically in 2004.
That was the first Super Bowl I watched. I remember that game because that was the day that Janet Jackson happened.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that very clearly. Actually, I don't remember it for the same reason.
I was 10 years old, and it was no doubt in my mind what I liked after that day.
Yeah,
I like spaghetti.
I don't remember that game for the same reason. I don't remember that event for the same reason you remember it. I remember that event because my dad got very upset by the by the raunchy dancing that Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson were doing.
It's not raunchy. He's just singing this.
Yeah, but he didn't like it. He's a very conservative human being. He didn't like it, so he changed the channel. And then I found out what happened the next day, and I'm like, oh, I kind of missed out, didn't I?
Well, it turns out your father was right. Can you imagine if y'all sitting around the living room?
Oh, he would have lost his mind, dude.
Hey, this song is literally, I have you naked by the in this song. Grab titty. Oh! Sorry, this just got really graphic. This podcast has got really graphic. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry for any
wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, it was a wardrobe malfunction. That's what it was called.
That's what happened. Totally was not planned to be the most memorable Super Bowl halftime show in all of Super Bowl halftime history. Anyway, back to the Raiders and Broncos. I'm taking the Raiders in this game because I do not in any way, shape, or form believe in the Broncos right now. The Russell Wilson, I'm sure still a fine quarterback or whatever, but he's clearly still kind of coming into, like, I think Broncos fans got really kind of like way too excited about this new thing that they didn't realize it was going to take some time to gel. And that gelling process is still happening. The Broncos offense is terrible right now. And the Raiders have been on the precipice of winning so many times this year. It kind of reminds me of the Bengals back in, 2020. They're on the precipice of winning so many times, and they just haven't been able to get it done. Now, granted, the Bengals only won 4 games that year. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Raiders are headed for the same path, but I feel like they're right there. They're ready to go win a game. And their offense, Darren Waller aside, their offense has been, flashing some stuff here and there. The Broncos offense has not. The only reason that they won against the 49ers is because, Jimmy Garoppolo was extremely rusty and the 49ers offense was somehow even worse, pulling the Dan Orlovsky running out of the back of the end zone. Which people say is,
I just see, I think that I don't believe in the Russ argument. I think I'm giving it to y'all. But if Russ doesn't play, this is game 4. You played 4 games. If he's still rusty after 180 minutes of football, 180 minutes, 60, 240 minutes of football, if he's still rusty of 240 minutes of football, then it ain't Russ, man. It ain't Russ. You don't drive. You don't.
That's part of what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's all Russell Wilson's fault. What I'm saying is the system in general, and it's part Russell Wilson, it's part the Broncos. I think the system is just not is going to need some time to gel together. Like, you don't just always. Sometimes, yes, it happens. Like Tom Brady shows up in Tampa Bay, and they're immediately Super Bowl contenders. But I mean, most of the time, it takes some adjustment for a free agent quarterback who spent his entire NFL life in one system to go to a completely new, different system. In a completely new, different city at a completely new, different altitude, by the way. It's like, there's going to be a learning curve in the first year. That's usually the way it works for quarterbacks. And so it's like, I think, Russell Wilson's eventually going to be a very good acquisition for the Denver Broncos. I just don't know if it's going to be all that much better this year than it was last year. I know you got a new coordinator and everything, but still.
Peyton Manning made that transition. Didn't Peyton Manning win a Super Bowl like the first year or the second year he was there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It happens sometimes. It wasn't like the first year, but
here's why I'm concerned about it. And this is why I think they should win. If Russ looks as bad as he did the first 3 weeks this week, it's not Russ. It's not Russ that we're all. It's Russell Wilson, his agent. And it kind of maybe.
So then that's Russ.
That's Russ. Okay, that's Russ. Okay, look. What I'm saying is maybe the Seattle Seahawks was on to something. Maybe they're on something. And I hate to say that, but, he is an undersized quarterback. He is 34 now. He's like 34, right?
He might be.
Yeah, he got a superstar girlfriend. He living a super style lifestyle. People get less hungry as they get older.
33.
33. Okay, I don't know. I don't know, man. It kind of just, if he plays that poorly this game, I think it's because he's just not as talented as quarterbacks he used to. I think that's it. I think eventually he'll play better. I think eventually he'll get better. But he's been in the league long enough. 4 games, man. You should at least somewhat look like yourself. And if he plays as poorly as he did the first couple weeks of the season, I'm saying maybe it's him becoming a worse quarterback than he used to be. That's why I think they're going to win this game, because I don't think that's true. I think he's a fine quarterback. I think he's good. I don't think there's any reason for him to digress. But man, you never know, man. You never know. It's NFL.
See, I don't think it's necessarily just Russ, though. I think it's the Broncos aren't necessarily adjusting. Don't forget, it's a brand new coaching staff too.
That's true.
So there's a lot of moving parts from this offseason, and it's like to expect it to just click right away just seems a little overambitious to me.
Yeah,
to answer your question from before, by the way, Peyton Manning did go to the Super Bowl in his second year with the Broncos, but they lost that game. It was
it's crazy about it
in Denver where they won.
Also, I just remember, if memory serves me correctly, Peyton Manning took over a team that won a division and won a playoff game with Tim Tebow. So it wasn't like he took over a bad team.
That's the other thing. The Seahawks have been awful.
Yeah, but Broncos been awful too, and so it's not like Russ took over a bad team, but he didn't take over a good team.
Well, that's completely the opposite of what most people anyway say about the Broncos, because it's like the Broncos have been a team that's been on the cusp of getting a playoff berth, but they just have their defense is so good, but their offense is so bad, and everyone's like, if they could just get a great quarterback, this team would be Super Bowl contenders. And so that was really the whole idea with Russell Wilson. The problem is you got a whole brand new coaching staff. And so you had so much turnover this offseason with the Broncos. It's like, it's not even really the same team. Like, you're not plugging Russell Wilson into last year's team. You're plugging Russell Wilson into a brand new team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
I know there's some carryover for sure, but there's a lot of new moving parts.
But either way, I'm going to Broncos. Yeah, I'm going to Broncos. I'm riding the Broncos only because, like I said, they were my Super Bowl pick. I'm regretting that decision every day, but I'm still on the Broncos bandwagon. I still think they're a solid team, but it looks like this might be the last week I might be on that bandwagon.
Feel you. I'm going with the Raiders just because I think the Raiders are due for a win. I think Derek Carr is still a good quarterback. I think the Raiders have been ready to win. They just need, to actually put it all together. And I think the Broncos are the Broncos are ripe for the slaughter, quite honestly. So it's just like, the Raiders are ready to win and the Broncos are ready to lose. That's just the way that I see it.
Okay.
All right. So next we got the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. So you got two of what appears to be right now the most surprising teams in the NFL going up against each other.
Give me the Eagles.
Okay.
Give me the Eagles. Jalen Hurts look good. And while you reply to that, I'm going to get the charger from my laptop and my phone so it doesn't go dead, so I can continue this podcast without any interruptions. But give me the Eagles.
All right, you're good. All right, so Tom's going with the Eagles. I'm going to go with the Jaguars just because, there's momentum. Trevor Lawrence is starting to look like the quarterback who everybody thought he could be. Even with Travis Etienne's struggles, they've still got James Robinson there in the backfield. So while Etienne takes some time to get where he's going, the Jaguars have somebody there that can can kind of keep the momentum. So I know the Eagles have been really good lately. And honestly, it's like I called them frauds on this prediction segment, and I'm really regretting that because they've absolutely dominated the last 2 weeks. But don't forget the Jaguars dominated too. So I think this is going to be a really, really good, interesting game. And I don't think like no matter which team loses, I don't think it's going to be a big, huge deal for them. Partially because it's an AFC team and an NFC team. But I mean, if I'm putting my money on one of them right now, the Jaguars, they've just got so much momentum. They got so much belief. And Doug Peterson, especially, I didn't even think about that. Doug Peterson going up against his old team, the team that unfairly fired him. You want to talk about bulletin board material.
Oh, wait, hold on. No, Doug Peterson got fired by the Eagles.
Yeah, unfairly.
And he replaced Urban Meyer. So, yeah, I am rooting for
Urban Meyer is no longer – Urban Meyer's back in college, I believe.
Yeah, I think he should stay there. Honestly, I really hate that guy.
I think he should just period. But anyway, next up we got the New England Patriots going to Green Bay to play the Packers. I think it's pretty obvious which of these teams is looking better right now.
Let me think about this for a second. Packers. And, the thing is that I don't think the Packers look that good this year. I mean, they look okay. They don't look juggernaut-y. They don't look as good as the Packers.
Depends on what you're talking about. Because they definitely looked like they smacked the Bears.
Yeah, they did.
That was not a fair game. I mean, it was a fair.
They are the Bears, but I think they're going to do the same thing to the. I think they're going to do the same thing.
I don't think they're going to do the same thing because you're right. They looked weird against the Vikings week 1. And then they beat the Buccaneers last week, which is important because the Buccaneers are a very good football team, but they beat them 14-12. So I'm a little, I don't want to say I'm worried yet about that Packers offense, but I'm definitely kind of, I'm definitely having some second thoughts about that Packers offense. Now, I do think the Packers are going to win because I think the Patriots are bad.
Yep.
So that's that. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Packers are not who we all thought they were right now.
Bill Belichick, man, he's a Bill Belichick. He's a like I said, he's spaghetti without any pasta. It's pasta or sauce. No spaghetti with no sauce.
Let's say I think spaghetti inherently cannot be without pasta.
It's spaghetti without any sauce. You listen to sauce.
All right, so we got the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers.
That's gonna be fun, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I think this will be a good game.
Man, Tampa Bay just moved their practice out of Florida to avoid a hurricane. That's the distraction. Now, it could go one or two ways. They could galvanize the moment, or they could be like, man, we are out of practice and preparation. That is an advantage to the Chiefs. I'm going to go with the Chiefs this game for that reason, actually. Yeah, I want the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers just because last week the Chiefs looked exposed to me. The Colts made the Chiefs look like they were missing Tyreek Hill. The Buccaneers don't really look like they're missing anybody. Like, I mean, they didn't have like a great game against the Packers, but in general, they look pretty good this year. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers in this game. I think they're going to take down the Chiefs. And that's all I really got to say about the matter. I'm a little skeptical about the Chiefs right now. That's my main thing. All right, so next up, you've got one of the less likely rivalries in the NFL, but it is a rivalry in the Minnesota Vikings and the New Orleans Saints.
So Vikings and Saints. Vikings. Yeah, Vikings.
Okay. Vikings. I'm honestly a little torn on this game. So, like, man, the Vikings are up and down.
Yeah, they are.
They won last week, but they didn't look great against the Lions, and then they got like stomped by the Eagles in primetime. But then again, they are 2-1, and they are leading the division because they beat the Packers week 1. But then against the Packers in week 1, so I mean, I don't know, man. Like, and then there's like the Saints, like, you know, their offense is doing okay. Their defense is not as good as like what I thought they were going to be. Man, I'm just I'm struggling with this one, to be honest with you. Like, the Saints really, honestly, defensively, they've been pretty middle of the pack. It's really I think my biggest surprise with them is like I thought they were gonna have a really good running game this year. Because like I mean Alvin Kamara is just, you know, he's a man on a mission. But yeah, I don't know, man. I might have to flip a coin on this one.
You know,
I might legitimately have to flip a coin on this one. I mean, like there is the fact that like I do like this game from a matchup perspective, from the Saints perspective, when it comes to what do you call it, like the pass rush, because like I mean like the Vikings have an okay pass rush, but the Saints have a pretty good offensive line when it comes to protecting against the pass rush. And it is in New Orleans. So I'm going to go with the Saints, I think. I'm not even going to flip a coin. I'm going to go with the Saints. I think the Saints are going to take this game.
Okay.
I'd like to see the Vikings win, but you know, I'm going to pick the Saints.
I'll take that L.
All right. Washington Commanders traveling to the Cowboys to play the impossibly like looking really good Cooper Rush Dallas Cowboys.
Give me the Cowboys. Because I'm never going to take the commies. Freaking hate you, Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Give it the Cowboys.
Carson Wentz definitely has not looked great the last couple weeks. I'm going to take the Cowboys too because for some reason I cannot figure out, but the Cowboys, I think Cowboys are experiencing a very similar phenomenon to the Cleveland Browns right now, and in that their backup quarterback actually might be the better option at starter. Because like Dak Prescott definitely did not look great before he got hurt, and Cooper Rush has been at the very least winning. So, I mean, until the Cowboys kill their momentum, especially going up against a bad team in the Washington Commanders, I'm going to say Cowboys probably take this one.
All right, I'll go to Cowboys.
Yep. All right, Seahawks traveling to Detroit to play the Lions. Who you got?
Ooh. I'm going with the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give me the Lions this one. Yeah, I'm going with the Lions. I like that pick.
Yep.
It's all about the Lions. Just throw me. Give me the Lions.
Yeah, no, the Lions are doing good, man. Like, they're not like world beaters or anything like that, but I mean, they almost beat the Vikings.
Yep.
And then I like I like the Lions this year. I think Dan Campbell's a hell of a head coach.
Mhm.
And I quite honestly just really don't like the Seahawks at all. So, yeah, I agree. Give me the Lions.
Yeah, give me the Lions. Yeah, go with the Lions. Love y'all.
All right.
Yeah, you know the Detroit.
Chicago Bears traveling to New York to play the Giants. Seems like a very classic type of matchup there.
Chicago Bears versus Giants. Saquon looked like he found something. The offense looked nice. Maybe because the Bears just look bad. So I'm going with the Giants.
Okay. I'm going to disagree. I think Saquon Barkley has been looking better lately, but Daniel Jones definitely looked a lot like the Daniel Jones I expected against the Cowboys. I think the Bears actually, outside of that Packers game, I think the Bears have actually been looking better than a lot of people expected. Okay. So I'm going to go with the Bears in this one.
Okay, I like it. I actually like that pick.
I believe in Justin Fields right now.
That's good. I do too. I just don't believe in everything around him.
That's fair. All right. Arizona Cardinals traveling to Carolina to play the Panthers. Who you got?
Arizona Cardinals playing the Panthers. Baker Mayfield versus Kyler Murray. Who's playing home? Arizona?
Carolina.
Interesting. You know what? Making my big upset of the week. I'm going with Carolina.
That's fair.
I'm going with Carolina.
I will second you on that being a big upset in saying that I'm picking the Cardinals. Because the Panthers are awful.
That's my big upset of the week. Baker gonna rhythm, baby. Come on, Baker Mayfield. Make me look like a genius.
I just don't like the Panthers at all, man. I mean, like, I want to see the Panthers do well because I mean, as you know, I like Baker Mayfield. I want to see him do well in Carolina. But I just don't believe in the Panthers at all.
Okay.
So I don't really believe in the Cardinals either, though. So this isn't an easy pick for me, but it's easy enough for me to go with the Panthers or go with the Cardinals without really thinking about it too much.
Yeah, Baker get hot. And so we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
All right, so we got LA Rams traveling to San Francisco to play the 49ers. What you got?
LA Rams playing 49ers, San Francisco.
Yep. Rams been looking good lately.
The Rams haven't been looking good lately. Divisional games always tight. The answer should be the Rams, no matter what. But it's still early in the season. But I'm still gonna go with the Rams. I still think it's early in the season. And the Rams can come back and win. I think the Rams still be a good team, a good enough team to beat a San Francisco team that kind of look a little lost right now, still trying to figure things out. So give me the Rams.
Okay. I feel you. In particular, what I worry about with the 49ers is right now Jimmy Garoppolo looks rusty as hell. I think he'll figure it out. I just don't know when he's going to figure it out. That said, I think I'm going to make this one my big upset of the week. I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Okay.
Now, how big of an upset anything is at this point in the year, I don't know. Because, if the 49ers win this game, both teams would be 2-2. But it's just like the Rams being the Super Bowl contenders and looking pretty good lately, and then the 49ers putting on that awful game with the Broncos. Yeah, the last time I saw the 49ers play, it was not good for the 49ers. So, but I don't know, man. Like, Kyle Shanahan has Sean McVay's number. That's just, that's undisputable fact. So Kyle Shanahan is Sean McVay's daddy, and therefore I am going with Daddy Kyle.
All right, cool. I do think Kyle Shanahan is a great coach. I think that he should get more love than what he gets.
I think Kyle Shanahan is a very good coach, but honestly, I kind of disagree with you here. I think he gets honestly more love than he deserves. Like, I think he's a very good coach, but I think people act like he's the second coming, and I don't think he is. Like, I think he's going to – I don't think he's ever going to win a Super Bowl with the 49ers. I could see him maybe taking the team back to the NFC Championship at some point, but I don't think they're going to go back to the Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan, or I don't think they're ever going to get to the Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan. I think he's a good coach, but I think he has his flaws. But he doesn't seem to have any flaws when they play the Rams for whatever reason.
You know, somebody brought to my attention that Kyle Shanahan had two of the greatest blunders in Super Bowl history. He blew a lead to the Chiefs, and he blew the lead to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I thought about that. I've been thinking about that a lot. And my friend was right about that. I've been thinking about that a lot. You know, I mean, like the Patriots one was unexcusable. The Chiefs one, I kind of give more of a pass to because of the Patrick Mahomes. Well,
he is an alien.
But it wasn't a 25-point lead, and it was just like Jimmy Garoppolo could make that throw, they win. So, you know, I don't really blame him for that Chiefs game, because I blame I blame the fact that the 49ers don't have a Super Bowl because they did not have the quarterback to win the game. I think Jimmy Garoppolo could not. He was one throw away. He couldn't make that throw. I think any other quarterback, Mahomes, Watson, Burrow, makes that throw. He did not make that throw. So I'm going with the. I just agree with my friend for that reason. But I don't know. It's an interesting statement. That's a very interesting statement. Book's the island guy.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the AFC North games now. So
awesome.
Start. We got the Buffalo Bills traveling to Baltimore to play the Ravens.
Buffalo.
Yep. That was
I'm yes, so pumped for this game. And Buffalo just took that L to the Dolphins. They're going to be fired up. Buffalo. God, I've been waiting all day to say that too.
Buffalo took that L to the Dolphins, but they only did that because like they kind of screwed it up at the end. They really like Josh Allen had them on pace to win that game. They were in field goal range, ready to win the game, and they just couldn't get everything down. So like I mean, the Bills really should be 3-0 right now. The Bills, I believe, should be like the team to beat in the NFL right now. I've got them at number 1 in my power rankings right now. Even though they lost to the Dolphins, who I have at number 2, by the way. But I think the Bills are a better team. And they're certainly a better team than the Ravens. Like, I mean, the Ravens right now are basically like Lamar Jackson and company. Lamar Jackson admittedly has been playing extremely well lately.
He's been playing great.
But it's been like him and like who else? You know, eventually that's going to catch up to them.
It's been him. Two teams that I look at and feel off about, the Ravens and the Chargers. Can't put my finger on it, but feel off about both those teams. That J.K. Dobbs could do. Obviously, Lamar Jackson could win you any game at any time, but this is a game where he's going against a guy named Josh Allen, and I don't even think it's going to be close, if I'm being real.
I can put my finger exactly on why I don't like the Ravens and the Chargers. With the Ravens, like I said, it's like their defense has not been it's not like it was the worst defense of all time, but their defense is not that typical Ravens defense that you're used to seeing. And then the Chargers, it's just because like Justin Herbert keeps getting hit, man. Like it's like Justin Herbert is not Joe Burrow. He can't he's not going to overcome it constantly.
Hey, soft. You softy. You softy pretty boy from LA. You little softy.
Hey, I didn't say it. Okay. But
I don't care. I'm not afraid of softy pretty boy from LA. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not, man. I'm from Cleveland, man. Well, you see it out here. It's dark as hell. It's 7:55 p.m., man. It's dark as hell out here. I got the lake out my window. It's cold out there.
Justin Herbert's
blowing at 20. Sorry.
Justin Herbert's from Oregon. So I mean it's colder and darker in Cleveland, but I mean it's fairly cold and dark in Oregon.
Have you ever been afraid of somebody from Oregon? Like legit question to everybody who ever watched this, all 5 people. Have you ever been?
I don't know if I've ever known anybody from Oregon.
Have you ever been afraid of anybody from Oregon? Like, anybody ever been afraid from somebody from Oregon? Oh, don't mess with him. He's from Oregon.
But
watch out for them Oregon
Ducks. Fair, but Thomas, do you know anybody from Oregon?
Nah, man, because you gotta be at least this tough to mess with me, man. And people from Oregon, man, I don't know, man, just like the cold on the West Coast don't seem like the cold on the Midwest. I don't know why. It's just I don't know. It's just Oregon, man. It's Oregon. Hey, whatever happens in Oregon?
I don't know. Don't know too much.
The two mascots for the two biggest colleges in Oregon are the Ducks, and you always get one pass because the biggest college in Ohio, the mascot's a freaking Buckeye, so whatever. And the other one is a Gopher. Who the hell is afraid of anybody from Oregon?
Pretty sure it's the Beavers.
That's even worse. I want to build a dam for you.
Not better. The Gophers are. Who are the Gophers?
Oh, the Maryland. Maryland, go to Gophers. No, that's Minnesota. Yeah, I just butchered that.
yeah, that's Minnesota. The Golden Gophers. Not the same team. All right, moving on. We got the Jets traveling to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers.
Man, I can see the Jets winning the game too.
Okay. I mean, I could. That's fair.
I could. No, I could. I had an up close look at both of those teams. I didn't really get measuring stick. I can see the Jets winning that game. Keep in mind, the Jets beat the Browns. The Steelers did. But I'm still gonna give the edge to the Steelers. But they're missing TJ Watt. You can tell. But I'm gonna give the edge to the Steelers.
Okay. You know what, Thomas? You only live once. So I'm going to go with the Jets here. And I'll tell you why. Because Joe Flacco is not coming back. I'm pretty sure Zach Wilson's going to start the next game. And,
for real?
Quite frankly, I've seen both the Steelers and the Jets. And yes, the Bengals lost to the Steelers, but they first of all really shouldn't have. Second of all, the Steelers, I've seen the Steelers a bunch this year, and they are awful.
Are really bad. They are bad.
And without TJ Watt, they are just disgustingly awful.
Man, I wish I had
defense or offense if TJ Watt isn't playing.
I wish I had that video. I wish I recorded that. When I was in the stadium Thursday, I was just chilling there in my seats, and we were winning. And everybody was chilling, just having a good time. It was fourth quarter, 3 minutes left in the clock. I looked around, looked at my friend. I stood up, looked at everybody in the section. I just started saying, Pittsburgh sucks. Pittsburgh sucks. Pittsburgh sucks. Everybody started laughing. Everybody in the whole entire section started laughing. I'm like, just stop. Let's stop to the heat. I'm like, wait, hold up. Y'all gonna join in with me? Like, when was the last time y'all gonna just do this? When was the last time y'all gonna do this? Come on, y'all. Pittsburgh sucks. Man, whole section. Pittsburgh sucks. Whole stadium. Pittsburgh sucks for the last 3 minutes. Now, obviously, there's probably some other idiot in the stadium that stood up and did the same thing I did. But it was great. It was great. And if I'm wrong on my prediction, if I could go another week by saying Pittsburgh sucks. Pittsburgh sucks. It would just feel good. Fuck you, Pittsburgh.
I agree. I would I would happily join you in your chant at the stadium, Thomas. But anyway, we got 2 games left to talk about, and I think you know which ones they are. So let's start with the Browns and Falcons.
Okay.
Who do you think is going to win this game, Thomas?
I'm going to go with the Browns. I actually think that I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be close in the first half. I think the Browns are going to pull away in the second half. I think that the Browns, I think Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are going to be able to control the game well and just beat down the Falcons. I think there's going to be a lot of Browns fans that go down there, and it's surprising to a lot of fans how well Browns fans travel. I think that's one underrated thing about our fan base is how great we travel. Browns fans can really galvanize the stadium, and it's very underrated how they do it too. So I think there's going to be a lot of Browns fans in that stadium in Atlanta. I know a lot of people making that trip to Atlanta. And I just think that Chubb and Hunt are going to break down that offensive line, the defensive line for the Falcons. I think the Browns are going to out-physical them. And I just think that our cornerbacks might be able to get some turnovers on Marcus Mariota. So give me the Browns. I think it'll be close, though. I think it'll be close in the first half. I think the Browns will pull away in the second half.
All right. So here's what I think is going to happen, Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I think that game is going to start out. Atlanta Falcons are going to get a real quick touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Browns are going to start off on the wrong foot. And I think, the Falcons are going to seize the moment. Suddenly it's 10-0. Suddenly it's 17-0. Browns get down the field. Jacoby Brissett gets them down there for a field goal. 20-3, because the Falcons are going to answer. And we're going to be in the fourth quarter by this point. Greg Newsome is going to intercept Marcus Mariota for a pick six. 20-10. Then Jacoby Brissett on the next drive is going to drive them, all the way down for another touchdown. It's 20-17. Falcons are going to go 3 and out. Browns going to get the ball back, and on the last drive of the game, the Browns are going to win the game 24-17.
I like the way you think.
I'm sorry,
I want to blow up one. I'm pretty sure the last time we played the Falcons, we came back and beat them too, if I'm not mistaken. Isaiah Crowell, if I'm not mistaken. This is before they were known for blowouts. This was with Brian Hoyer. If my memory serves me correctly, the last time the Browns played in Atlanta, that was the Isaiah Crowell Brian Hoyer game.
Isaiah Crowell, what a
that guy sucked. Man, that guy sucked. We made a lot of running backs look good because of the offensive line.
All right. So last game, which is the game that's being played tomorrow night, by the way. Mm-hmm. We got the Miami Dolphins traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals, who will be decked out in all white, including their helmets.
I'm really excited to see those uniforms. I've seen some photos on the internet. Man, they look nice. I'm not going to front with you. Those white ones, man. Yeah. But white. All white. Like 1700s New England. Nothing but white. Powdery white. Anyway, give me the Bengals. If you watched the last episode, y'all know that we both picked the Bengals. I think the Bengals. I think it's gonna be a statement win for the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow's gonna look good. I think. I think you guys. I think Jamar Chase is gonna have a good game for him. Give me the Bengals. Give me the Bengals. Plus, the home team wins 39 games most of the time.
Did we already do the prediction?
Yeah, we did a prediction.
Oh wow! Screw me.
Just in case we didn't go. It was a just in case prediction.
Okay, well, I'm gonna stick with my original prediction. I think the Bengals are gonna win this game. Don't know exactly what's up with Tua, but I think the fact that he's injured enough to potentially not play could be an issue. And then with the Bengals defensive line having come on pretty strongly lately, I don't know what's up with Jermaine Pratt, but Akeem Davis-Gaither has been playing pretty well in his stead. So, I mean, the way I see it, the Bengals right now have a lot of momentum. The Bengals finally woke up against the Jets. The Dolphins don't exactly have the greatest pass rush of all time, So I think the offensive line is going to be able to hold their own, and I think Joe Burrow is going to navigate that pocket well. And I mean, quite honestly, I don't even think this is going to be a particularly – I don't think it's going to be a huge blowout, but I don't think it's going to be a particularly close game either. I'm guessing like 30-17 or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, suck it, Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, suck it, Baltimore.
Sorry, suck it, Miami.
Okay.
That was horrible. Because I'm looking at highlights. Because I'm looking at highlights to confirm my predictions. Like, when I'm looking at predictions, like, I'm not looking at I'm looking at stats and highlights and stuff to confirm my predictions. Like, right now, I got 3 games on my screen. I got the Ravens, Patriots. I have the Carolina Panthers, New Orleans game. For some reason, I got the Clemson, Wake Forest game. I don't know why that came on my screen for some reason, but whatever. I'm not watching it. I just got it there. But I'm looking at the Carolina Saints game, and I feel really confident about my prediction because Baker Mayfield really looked bad last week. And I'm feeling confident about my prediction about the Ravens because the Ravens didn't really look that good against the Patriots, if we're being real. The Patriots is really bad. The Ravens made a really bad team look good.
Fair.
So, that's why I said suck at Baltimore, because I just seen the play where Baltimore turned it over, and I'm just excited about watching the Baltimore Ravens get smoked by the Bills on Sunday. It's gonna be just they're gonna feel so good.
It's gonna warm my
heart. My heart is gonna grow 3 times the size, just like Grinch did on Christmas Eve. all the little Who's and Whoville, the AFC North are gonna be screaming as the Steelers and the Ravens go down in flames, and my heart is going to grow 3 times the size.
All right, so that's pretty much what we're thinking as far as predictions go. That's a good transition though, because real quick, I mean, we're an hour and a half into this, so I don't want to spend too long on this, partially because nobody really cares about the Ravens and the Steelers.
They suck.
They both suck. But anyway, we do need to wrap it up with at least a few comments on the state of the AFC North, like we always do. So you got anything else to say about the Ravens, Thomas?
Their defense sucked. I can confirm your statement from earlier because they made Mac Jones look like a genius. Can't rely on one player to literally do everything. You better hope that J.K. Dobbs comes out. They have no receivers. I mean, what you going to do, man? I suck, right, Baltimore? Lamar looked good. Lamar does look good.
That's the thing. Like, I think Lamar looking as good as he does really kind of gives the Ravens, maybe not against. I think the Bills are going to beat them because the Bills are just such a good team. But I think most of the time it's like the Ravens are, have a chance in every game because Lamar Jackson is playing at his potential right now.
I really hope the Ravens just have, you want them to always have a bad season. I really hope the Ravens just have a horrible season. Because the Ravens have a bad season, I think that it could mean an exodus of Lamar from Baltimore.
What's possible?
Now, I'm really hoping for a collapse for the Ravens this year. Because I want to see Lamar leave. It's raining. The game's about to rain out.
So yeah, the Ravens defense sucks. I mean, I also would like, just for the sake of them being a division rival, I would also like to see the Ravens have a bad year and not have good things happen in the future, just simply because that makes it better for the Bengals. I don't have the same level of animosity towards the Ravens that you do, Thomas, but I think that's understandable considering what they did to your city.
Yeah.
So. I can't fault you for that one. Me personally, I ain't got anything. I don't like it when teams relocate in the first place, period.
Yeah.
But I don't have any, feelings towards Cleveland necessarily, so I don't have any reason to dislike the Ravens any more than I dislike the Rams, for example.
Yeah, the Chargers should go back to San Diego. Just side note, I've been thinking that for the longest time. The Chargers should go back to San Diego. Honestly,
but why though?
Yeah, what the fuck they going to LA, man? Like LA gave LA needs the Rams. Like give LA the Rams, put the Chargers back in San Diego. I was talking to somebody from California. They didn't even know the Chargers left San Diego. That tells you how little people in California don't care about football. Changed my mind.
Well, a couple of them do. I saw at least 3 Chargers fans at the most recent game, Thomas.
Yeah, but it's a social thing for Californians. It's like yeah, we go to hey, you want to go to a football game? Yeah, why not? I'm sorry. You want to go to the football game this Sunday? The new stadium is nice. We might see some celebrities. Ooh, my papa got a new Porsche. Ooh, I hope you don't flip it over 3 times. I've seen that cow. That's also a fact. Talking about some rich kids from California, man. Of course, they're gonna find people to go to the game. They got freaking thousands of people on a freaking block in California. There's so many people in California. Of course, they can find people going to games, but let's be real, man. Like LA, man, come on, I don't care about football. Give San Diego their football team.
But San Diego's in California, Thomas.
I know they probably don't care about it either, but at least like
they do care about it though. They were pissed.
Yeah, they were pissed. Yeah, get San Diego back their football team. I don't need two football teams in LA. Like y'all can have one, fine. Y'all LA. Y'all don't need two football teams. Like what the heck y'all need? Like why do y'all need 2 football teams?
Why does New York need 3?
Yeah, that's true. But why does LA needs 2 football teams? Like LA don't like football in California, man. It just USC. That's it. But even they've been horrible. Like, come on, man. Just give San Diego back to the team. Like, come on, just do it. Just do it. Just do it.
All right, so anything you want to say about the Steelers beyond just finding it hilarious that those Steelers fans are at the games chanting Kenny Pickett when the Steelers gave Mitch Trubisky $14 million.
I really hope I'm wrong about that game on Sunday. I really do hope I'm wrong because like it just be the Steelers, man. It'd just be hilarious. Because like, don't you just want to see Steelers fans suffer?
I would be rather enjoying myself.
Because the Steelers, they get worse in the second half of the season. At least they have been the last 5 years.
Well, that's partially because Ben Roethlisberger is their quarterback, and he was old and deteriorated at the end of every season.
Yeah. Give me the Give me Steelers suck times 20. You suck, Pittsburgh. I'm still taking you off for this weekend though, but I suck. I suck. Hate y'all. I want y'all to suck.
If you ain't got anything else, else to say, then I think we probably ought to hop on off out of here.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I got everything off my chest.
Awesome. So that's pretty much going to be it for this episode of the Battle of Ohio podcast then, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You can always find more of what I do at Kyle Phelps 92 on Twitter, facebook.com/thephelps. Go check out my YouTube channel, Kyle Phelps. I just put out power rankings today. And it's my first power rankings of the season because I've been kind of disorganized. But I'm getting back into it, I promise. Then Thomas, you can find more of what he does at T_star94 on Twitter and Instagram, and the Thomas J Network on TikTok and YouTube.
Ooh, wait, one more thing. I just seen I'm looking at the Bengals field. It look nice. Are y'all going all white? Is it going to be all white? Is it going to be a whiteout at the crowd?
I don't think the crowd's doing a whiteout, no.
They got just missed a golden opportunity. God damn, y'all missed it.
College, Thomas. No, but like not enough people are gonna do it.
Come on, man. A whiteout would be awesome. A whiteout would be. I'm looking at this field.
They're not gonna do it.
Like that field look awesome, dude. That field look awesome. Thank you to our friend Bengal Jim for posting that amazing photo. I'm just saying, a whiteout would look awesome. I'm not even a fan. Y'all my rival.
It would look cool as hell, but like whiteouts or blackouts or orange outs or whatever whatever color out, those don't really happen in the NFL. Like grown adults aren't always going to agree to do that. That's a college thing.
I know, but it'd be awesome. I
mean, it'd be cool if they could pull it off, but like they're not.
Well, I mean, like the Cavs, grown adults go to Cavs games and Cavs during the playoffs. Everybody's wearing red.
Basketball is a bit of a different creature.
Yeah.
Basketball's kind of got that like swag factor that the NFL just kind of doesn't have.
Sure. Basketball is that swag.
But yeah, like I said, that's it for this one, guys. So I'll leave y'all as always with a hootie.
Go Browns. I really do think this should be 2 basketball